Hello, I'm Bob Lancer, and the purpose of this show is to lead you into the life you truly want to be living. It is also about helping you to better understand and relate with others, especially the children in your life, in support of their great potential. So this show is for anyone who wants to live with more peace and purpose and positive power to soar into the fulfillment of our greatest promise. Patience means faith in the time that something takes. Patience is faith in living in the present moment without pushing or forcing anything to happen. Patience is accepting things as they are. But this statement requires some clarification. You see, things are not the way that you think they are. People are not who you think they are. You are not who you think you are. Your thoughts give you a representation of reality, like photographs. Your child is not your photograph of your child. You are not your photograph of you, and your life is not a photograph of a scene in your life. But we don't actually live this way until we experience a most significant level of conscious awakening. You see, your emotional reactions occur in reaction to your mental representations of reality. When you feel angry or impatient with your child or your mate, or even with yourself, you feel that way in response to what you are thinking or imagining. When you feel impatient with any condition in your life, you feel that way in response to what you think or imagine about that condition. Basically, an impatient reaction comes from a belief that you have about reality. So your belief causes your impatience, not your child, your mate, or your life. When you feel stressed out over how much time something or someone is taking, your belief makes you feel that way. You believe yourself into impatience. So the question is, does impatience really pay? Impatience hurts your relationships because it makes you short-tempered, irritable, and insensitive toward the feelings of others. It blocks your ability to relate compassionately with them. You worsen whatever situation or relationship you are in when you feel impatient within the context of that situation or relationship. To produce the highest level of results in any area, relieve yourself of your impatience. Replace impatience with a calm, clear focus of your attention directed to the present moment. Patience provides you with the inner space to do this. The moment you feel impatience setting in, realize that you are robbing this moment of the joy you could feel within it. Patience equals joy. Because patience means that you impose no pressure on yourself to function more quickly than you can in a peaceful, harmonious state. Patience frees you to feel the joy of life in the present moment. It frees your heart to open with compassion. It frees you to function in a healthy way. And it frees others from the negative impact of your impatience. Patience is really the foundation for a healthy relationship. Destructive relationships. What to do if you're in one, and how to avoid having one. This show will prove especially meaningful to parents because the relationship their child sees functions as a mold for the child's relationships outside the home. A lot of homes are breaking up these days, leaving kids with the heartbreak of a broken family and the absence of a healthy, loving example of a relationship that works. Broken relationships injure adults as well. It's pretty obvious that for the most part, human beings do not know how to get along. The quality of your intimate relationship may not make or break you, but it can help or hurt a lot as you work on turning yourself into your very best version of yourself. Consider the importance of developing your ability to attract, create, maintain, and end relationships. Let's begin with the end. Ending relationships well requires skill. Ending relationships poorly, or lacking the strength and skill to walk away from a relationship whose time has come, sentences you to misery. Relationships grow, or they die. They grow through the successful passage out of the straits of difficulty and dispute. They grow through the sharing of positive, exhilarating adventures and through quiet time together in peaceful, deep harmony. They grow through the giving of one another the space each needs to reacquaint with oneself. For a relationship to grow, you have to end the way it was. If you resist change, you resist life. Relationships that fail to change lose their liveliness. They flatten out, and the romance wanes. If you don't recognize the signs of a dying relationship, it can pass away. If you do not end the dying relationship, you die with it. You may not die physically, but you can die emotionally, attitudinally, spiritually, and this can lead to physical health problems. Our very life force thrives in the vibrant heart of a relationship that's alive. Unhealthy relationships take away, they do not add. They diminish the power of each member and delete the spark from the delinquent heart. Delinquent lovers become absent partners. The unaddressed problems unseat the throne of love. Sickening relationships need healing or leaving. To recover, they need to be nursed carefully, patiently. To keep a relationship growing takes two individuals committed to their own continuing growth and to the nurturing of the relationship. You have to grow into another person. Who you are proves obsolete in the context of changing times, and times do change. We say that problems stay the same, but they don't. They get worse. Every time you and your mate revisit a problem, it takes more out of you. You have to grow into another person to be a better person. And if you do not believe that you have to grow into a better person for a relationship to survive and thrive, you mislead yourself. That growth in character, in knowledge, in capability, constitutes the principal element necessary for a lasting, loving union between souls. The man feels tempted to leave his wife and their toddler twins when a woman terribly attractive shows interest. His character's being tested. Making the right choice makes him a better person. Resisting the temptation, he pays the price for his own wife to appear more tempting and attractive in his eyes. The woman feels unappreciated. She feels hopeless to ever win the heart of her lover. She receives a call from an old flame. With him, she feels more secure. He knows she is involved, but he makes himself available anyway. She can see him in secret. If she falls for the trap, she engages herself with a man without character and loses some of her own in the process. If she would at least come clean about her problems and see if her current mate shows willingness to deal with the issues, she grows and gives this or her next relationship a chance to grow with her. People feel trapped in bad relationships only because they do not know how to fix the problem or leave it well. The ability to end a relationship well helps you to establish respectful boundaries. If you have a weakness in endings, you fear to stand up for yourself because you fear the possible consequences. You feel that you have to accept abuse, or you allow yourself to attack a partner who does not meet your expectations rather than reject the unacceptable. The fear of abandonment keeps us stuck. The ability to end a relationship well sets you free to maintain a relationship that works and to leave one that has finally failed. When you exit a relationship badly, you condemn yourself to personal problems that prove more complex than the problems you left. A relationship with another person represents your relationship with yourself. Cruelty, dishonesty, and disrespect are never justified. When you act out those destructive patterns, you turn them upon yourself. You mistreat yourself, lie to yourself, and you make choices that undermine your self-esteem and self-development. The beginning of a relationship acts like its foundation. Any weaknesses in the start undermines the entire structure, meaning that the higher it goes, the weaker and more vulnerable it grows. Leaving a relationship launches you along the path of your trajectory. Where you land depends upon the direction of your departure. If you part in a way that lacks integrity, you head toward the consequences. Leaving a partner in a cruel manner to enter a new relationship creates a fractured foundation for that new relationship. For example, if you lie your way out of a relationship to be with another, you base your new relationship on a foundation of lies. That destabilizes the basis of trust and respect, essential to the new relationship's growth. Sooner or later, you have to revisit those weak character traits that led you and work through them, which proves more difficult and painful and costly with every new day, because every new day brings an opportunity to change. You have the opportunity to fix yourself each day. And each day you pass up the opportunity, you make yourself harder to fix. You bring yourself where you go. Behaving selfishly brings selfish trends into your relationship, as well as the loss of self-respect you feel over your selfishness. You see, we know what we're doing. We know when we lie, when we take advantage of someone's trust and mistreat someone for his kindness. We can try to drink or drug or shop or work to hide from facts we know about ourselves. But the truth seeps in somehow, sooner or later, and we have to face it. In the meantime, we live partially, relating with others as superficially as we relate with ourselves. We feel alone, isolated and cut off behind the wall of self-deception we erect around our own hearts. The way you begin a relationship determines the direction the relationship will take. If you start out lying, you either end up admitting it and facing the music, or you must continue to build your life on a base of lies. You cannot trust your new lover as long as you remain your old, untrustworthy self. This sparks jealousy and other forms of insecurity and possessiveness. You grow suspicious, expectant of the worst, which turns your love to loathing. Lovers become enemies through one's uncalled-for lies. When you end a relationship on good terms, you establish a good character in yourself, which attracts good people to you and establishes a good term for the future. You end a relationship on good terms through a courageous commitment to honesty, respect, and compassion. I had a terrible marriage, but a wonderful divorce, an acquaintance once told me. By that he meant that he supported his spouse and treated her kindly and respectfully through the end, and found complete peace as a result. He did not leave her to be with someone else. He left her to be himself, to be on his own, to go his own way. He left her treating her the way he would have wanted to be treated, and it worked. We treat our partner poorly when we overlook how our treatment impacts us. Your unkind words verbally abuse you. Your resistance to love keeps you feeling cut off. Your mean-spirited makes you into a bitter pill which no one wants to swallow. We end relationships badly because we become impatient with the slow tedium of compassion. It takes so much patience to say it softly, kindly, gracefully. We much more easily rush our way to freedom like a fullback smashing through the line of scrimmage. This form of rush, however, inevitably leads to a misstep that eventually sends us falling back. We have to go back to repair the damage that we did to ourselves through lying, discompassionate conduct. Only then do we render ourselves wholly available to a new, loving companion. If you have committed errors along the way, face them. Repair your relationship with yourself. Face who you are and what you did. It will not hurt as much as you fear. In the end, the hurt will finally change to the peace you have only pretended to possess. You treat yourself kindly by treating others kindly. Consider the other's feelings. Is she in pain? Stop letting your fear of your own hurt drive you away. Say and do something with the aim of helping her feel better. When you feel your heart hardening, do things aimed at softening it. Work in your garden, hug your child, toss the frisbee to your puppy. Have a nice day. You might begin to walk the joyful path of kindness by asking your hurt partner what he needs from you to feel better. Asking this will make you feel better. Doing it will make you feel even better. If she asks for the impossible, that you stay when you have to leave, then ask her for a way that you can leave without hurting her more than necessary. Find a win-win way for you to lose one another. Ending a relationship badly sets you up for entering a destructive relationship. You feel like a failure when you fail to live up to your own higher values, even though you may try to pretend to yourself that you do not care. The feeling of failure indicates that you have not gone the distance, have not given your best. You become what you do. Giving less than your best brings you down to a lower level of ability until you work your way back up. In that lower level, you attract lower people. The feeling of failure lowers your self-esteem, causing you to accept worse treatment and to accept the people who punish you. We do not feel like failures because things do not turn out as we wish they had, but because we did not show up as we wish we had. We enter into intimacy with the highest hopes. We need such high hopes to risk the despair of wounds received in intimacy. If we give less than our best to the fulfillment of our hope, we look back and feel undeserving of a new opportunity for the happiness we crave and thus push future opportunity away. Ending a relationship well feels like a success, not a failure. You feel a sense of completion. You have no loose ends dangling. It's time to move on. Your heart has been set free. Ending a relationship well and truly takes two. Though someone has left you, the relationship's end actually awaits your leave as well. Your lover may go first, but as long as your heart remains engaged, he drags you with him. You have to go through the pain of grieving and unfulfillment until you so dislike the relationship as it really is that you finally lose interest. You cannot make yourself divest your heart's interest. Only the facts can make that happen. And the more deeply your feeling of attachment, the more hardship you endure. Only when you finally see her as not what you need can you leave. She has now lost you. You give up, but you feel triumphant, not like a victim. Prematurely leaving an intimate relationship occurs when you leave someone unkindly, when you leave before tying up all the loose ends. You set yourself up to be treated as you treat others. Prematurely leaving one relationship guarantees that you prematurely enter your next relationship because impatience has become your pattern. So you lurch forward into promises and dreams based on impossible hopes, rooted in the misperception of hasty observation, poor reasoning, and superficial judgment. There exists no shortcut to happiness in love. Intimacy involves the greatest risk, the risk of heartbreak. Resisting intimacy involves no risk, but a guarantee that you make yourself lonely. Every step forward into intimacy is an experiment. You do not know how the other will respond to your deeper vulnerability. Everyone plays a role that keeps them safe, but safe from what? Safe from love. Discard the persona and step out from behind the veil. Bare your heart and soul. That is the price for freedom from destructive relationships. A destructive relationship involves you being false, which works against your true self, opposed to your real needs. Of course, intimacy is frightening. No one is who they say they are or seem to be. Every person has the potential for evil. But what real choice have you? Either embrace the thrill of love's dangerous uncertainty or live under a rock. You end relationships badly through treachery, selfishness, or greed. Any way that you take advantage of another person, sooner or later comes back to take advantage of you. We make the most mistakes when we move too quickly. If you face the ending of a relationship, pace yourself. Pacing ending proves just as important and just as difficult as pacing yourself at the beginning, when passion runs high. If you hold on too tightly and too soon, you also probably give up too easily and run away too fast. You enter a fantasy world and leave the truth and a part of yourself behind. If you take too much time and hold back too much of your heart as a strategy for avoiding the risk at the beginning, you also probably hang on too long at the end, and thus you waste time you could have invested into moving on. Destructive partners steal time from one another. By keeping secret from you his intention to leave when it suits him alone, he keeps you in the dark, where you may be working on the relationship still. He uses his freedom to move on while you root yourself more deeply in the effort to solve the growing problems. Had he been straightforward, you could have been letting go simultaneously, and the transition would not have consumed more of your time than his. You could have found new love sooner. He stole time and love from you. Hurt is a gift. You can always gain as much as you lose. Things always balance out. This does not excuse the one who hurts you, though, who loses as much as he gains through underhanded methods. Your results reflect the way you do things. Work on your skills of beginning, maintaining, and ending relationships. Work on improving your loving, effective communication. Pay close attention to your way of handling conflict and dissatisfaction. Keep your heart soft with acts of kindness. Ask yourself, am I treating the other with respect? Listen to the answer. Disrespect is never called for, and it always comes back to hurt you. Destructive relationships, well, those are selfish relationships. Relationships exhibit a life cycle. They pass through birth, growth, dying, and death, followed by rebirth when they last. We fall apart to come back together into a better union. Knowing how to move through the ending of a phase of a relationship can protect us from the relationship's unnecessary demise that proves painfully permanent. Expect breakdown. Conflict occurs. Seemingly irreconcilable differences emerge. We lose hope. All of this happens and signifies a dying, but not a permanent dying. Just a dying of the old, which feeds the birth of the new. Death is the price for life in nature. The inspiration and passion that fueled high hope and hard work eventually dissipate. When that happens, let go. Give up. Surrender. Do not move away hastily. Give the spark a chance to rekindle. It probably will if you allow it. Don't expect your relationship to last as it is. Expect it to end. And if you move through the ending with self-honesty and compassion, it can come back to life in better form than ever. People leave relationships prematurely when they expect relationships to remain the same. They see a change. They panic, so they run. They do not understand that death precedes rebirth. Get fed up. Lose hope. But then see if the other is willing to work at it again. If so, you can enjoy new love and romance together, as if you found a new lover. Just as exciting, even more so, because you didn't leave prematurely based on a false view, but you stayed, and love was renewed. And that's all the time we have for today's broadcast of Bob Lancer's Answers. To order a recording of today's show or of previous shows, and for more information about my work, check out my website at boblancer.com. That's BOBLANCER.com.